Hello there! I'm Scotty, and you're not. And this is a late review. I was originally going to record this last night, Thursday, when you're watching this, and have it out for you this morning by 8 o'clock like I usually do with my reviews. And I got tired. I just wanted to relax after I got home last night, so I didn't do it. But we are reviewing the whole 9 yards. And the reason I'm reviewing this, it's kind of out of nowhere. So I'm doing the sequel-a-thon, and I bought the whole 10 yards to do a review on that. The sequel-a-thon is reviewing sequels to movies I haven't done. And when I was stacking these up, the only movie that I thought I hadn't done yet was The Lawnmower Man, which I will be doing soon, because I'm going to do the sequel. And then after I got the whole 10 yards, I'm like, okay, when did I do the review for the first one? And as I started looking it up, I realized I didn't do the first one. I thought I did it. I thought I did this back when I was doing, back in 2019, because I thought, I might have to do a revisited review to kind of get it, back, Because I thought I was doing this back when I was doing the random reviews of, Major Pain, and So I Married an Axe Murderer. Back then, in 2019, within my first year, I thought I did it. I was wrong. And so here we are in 2022, 3 years later, and I'm reviewing the whole 9 yards so I can count the sequel in my sequel-a-thon. So the whole 9 yards is a comedy film starring Matthew Perry, Bruce Willis, Amanda Peet, what's her name? Natasha Henstridge, and Michael Clark Duncan, and Kevin Pollak, and is directed by Jonathan Lynn, and tells the story of Oz, or Dr. Oz Oransky, Oz, a dentist, played by Matthew Perry, who is a new neighbor named Jimmy Jones, who is secretly Jimmy Tedeschi, a Chicago crime murderer hitman who has come to Canada, where they live, and to hide from one Yanni Gogalock. And so Oz's wife decides to send him to Chicago, to Yanni Gogalock, to tell Yanni Gogalock where Jimmy is, so that they can, so that Jimmy can get killed, and she supposes, that they could get some kind of money out of it, which they would anyway. But yeah, what happens is it spirals out of control with, people in cahoots, receptionists that were secretly supposed to be hired hitmen or hitwoman, falling in love with someone else's wife, and all while the current wife hires someone else who ends up being a cop to hunt, to kill him. So yeah, not very good from a man Oz. But this was Matthew Perry's, I think this was his first starring role, but this came out in the year 2000, which is right in the middle of Friends' run. And actually, I think that Bruce Willis ended up being on Friends because he did this movie. He and Matthew Perry hit it off, and he ended up on Friends. You Friends fans, you know what I'm talking about when I say he was on Friends. Come on, you can do this. Just a love machine. You're just a love machine. Come on, you know what I'm talking about when I say that Bruce Willis was on Friends. But yeah, so Oz is a dentist who hates his life. He is married to his wife, Rosanna Arquette, but I guess they got married under better terms. He was working in the dental practice with her father, who got arrested for embezzlement, and now he is forced to pay off all their debts. They both want a divorce, but can't do it because they can't afford it. And he can't afford it, and she won't let him because she has to pay off. He has to pay off her father's debts. So, yeah. Then a new neighbor moves in, and he realizes from the tulip on his arm that he is Jimmy the Tulip Tedeschi, and tells his wife, who then tells him to go to Chicago to tell Yanni Gogolak, because here's what happened, I believe. Yanni Gogolak's father, Laszlo Gogolak, who we'll meet in the sequel, by the way, also played by Kevin Pollak, was sent up the river to jail because Jimmy ratted on him. So now, Yanni wants revenge, has put out a hit on Jimmy, and so he's hiding in Canada, of all places. And so, Oz and Jimmy, they hit it off. There's everyone, goes back to quote the mayonnaise line. It's actually its own clip on YouTube, the mayonnaise line, because what happens is Oz goes to lunch with Jill, his receptionist, played by Amanda Peet, and he's like, I want a hamburger. Do not put mayonnaise on it. No mayonnaise, no mayonnaise. And then the waitress leaves, and he's like, they're going to put mayonnaise on it. And they do. There's like a big old gob of mayonnaise. And then later, when he meets Jimmy, he introduces himself, he goes, are you okay? He's like, I just had a hamburger for lunch. Did they put mayonnaise on it? I hate that. I hate when they put mayonnaise on it. The only condiment that should be on there is ketchup. And he throws his bag. By now, though, he's realized that he's Jimmy the Tulip because he has a tattoo on his arm, which, why would you just have that sticking out? Why would you, I know it might be warm weather, but why wouldn't you wear long sleeves? I'm just saying. But yeah, the mayonnaise line. First of all, I love putting mayonnaise on my hamburgers. Cheeseburgers out of mayonnaise on it. I also like ketchup. Sometimes mustard, but mayonnaise is a go-to for me. I don't know. I like it. But yeah, so Oz is sent to Chicago to find Yanni Gogolak and tell him that he knows where Jimmy is. When he gets there, he is approached by a man named Frankie Figs, played by Michael Clark Duncan, who is working for Yanni Gogolak. And when he gets to Yanni Gogolak, he's introduced to Cynthia, Yimi's wife, as he says. Yimi's wife. Kevin Pollak, or Pollak, whatever. Kevin Pollak is good with he's a good impressionist. He's done Christopher Walken. He's very well known for doing Christopher Walken, and he can do accents, so he's very good in this. But it's very subtle. Like, he talks kind of like this, and when he says his words, and when he speaks his words, he sometimes puts a W sound into them. Like Yimi, that's the Y sound because his name is Yanni. So Yimi's wife, speak the words. It's very subtle. But wouldn't you know it, Oz falls in love with Yimi's wife because she shows up at his. From the moment he sees her, though, walk in, he's in love with her. And Natasha Henstridge is a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong, and, watch Species if you want that to be known. But then she shows up at his hotel room after he's called Yimi to tell him what is going down. But he already knew about it because he's got someone else in cahoots. I wonder who that could be. But yeah, he ends up sleeping with Cynthia, and it turns out that Frankie Figs is in cahoots with Yimi. So the plan is to lure Yanni to Canada so Yimi could kill him. Pretty simple. Meanwhile, though, Oz's wife has hired a quote-unquote hitman, played by Harlan Williams, who you know from movies like Half Baked or Rocket Man. He's been in a bunch of comedy movies. There's always the weird character he's in this. She's hired him to kill Oz because she tried to hire Yimmy and he said no. So then Oz finds out that Jill was actually another hired hit person by his wife to kill him, but she couldn't do it because she ended up liking him. And then Yimmy tells the story of how he ended up being a friend, having a friend, and he couldn't go through with it. But then the guy shot him, so he was forced to kill him. That sort of thing. Which is all unsettling for Oz because he says, "Oh, I'm your friend, Oz. I'm your friend," but yet, he's afraid he's gonna get killed. So the plan is this. They lure. So the plan. So here's what's happened. There's $10 million in a bank account that can't be touched, unless all three of them go in there. Yanni, Yimmy, and Cynthia have the authority over this account. But they cannot just walk in and get the money. No, they have to either two people and one death certificate, or one person and two death certificates. My thought is would they be able to just, if they were able to resolve their conflicts, just go in there together and do it, or does one of them have to be dead? I don't know. So Jimmy wants to kill Yanni, and also going to kill his wife to get the money. And Yanni is going to kill Yimmy and then Cynthia to get the money. And the approach they take is a smart approach by Oz to just kind of wrap everything up. But what happens anyway? I have a comment on that. But so they set Yanni up to go over to Yimmy's house, and Yimmy kills everyone, including Yanni. And then the other hitman hired by the wife, who ends up actually being a cop, Detective Hansen, undercover, gets shot by Jimmy when he's distracted by titties, specifically Jill's titties, because she shows up topless or naked. She's naked because Frankie says nothing better than a fine naked woman holding a gun. Sure, but he's distracted by it, and then Hansen gets killed. And then Oz has the idea. Oz and Cynthia have run out because Oz is in love with her, and she might be in love with him, and she ends up being in love with him. But they run out, and they come up with an idea. Because Oz is a dentist, he's going to fix the detective's teeth to match Jimmy's teeth, and then put his body with Yanni's body in Oz's car, blow it up. Would it really be a couple issues? One, would it really be that bad that they'd only be able to figure out who they are by dental records? No fingerprints or anything? I guess if it burnt hot enough, scorched their skin, the dental records would probably be the only way. Two, after this though, Jimmy ends up letting his wife live with Oz and gives them $1 million, I think it is, for when they get married. But here's the thing. Oz is never told about the $1 million, so he asked her to get married. She's like, told you about the money. What money? He just wants to get married to her. It's a little soon. They just met, but okay. Why did Jimmy have to die? Why does Jimmy Trudesky have to be known as dead for this to happen? We said earlier that they would need either 2 signatures and a death certificate, or 2 death certificates and 1 signature. So why does Jimmy have... Why can't they just sign it together and split the money? Because Jimmy wanted more? Like, she didn't want the money. So for all intents and purposes, they could split it and she could just give him the rest afterwards. I don't know. But he's known as dead, and that comes back in the second one. So turns out Jimmy and Jill want to be together, and Oz and Cynthia are going to be together. But there's one last little hiccup. Frankie Figs, who is intent on the fact that Oz has to die. So Jimmy kills him, shoots him a bunch of times, falls off the boat. And yes, that does also play into the sequel. Look, I don't hate this sequel, but it's not as good as this movie. I love this movie, man. I do. I love this movie. One of my favorite parts of the movie is where Oz is talking. He gets a little frustrated. He's like, no, I'm not gonna condone the death of a beautiful woman. And he freaks out and he can't get the sliding door open, and he does. He runs out to his place and tries to call her, but he gets one of Yanni's henchmen, so he hangs up right away. Waits like a minute or so, calls back, but they've already left. So he freaks out and runs back, but he runs right into the sliding door, which is funny because I've done it. We lived in an apartment building. We had our back door was a sliding glass door, and I've run into that thing. I couldn't tell you how many because I think it's open. My mom kept it so clean, but I was also thinner then. If I run into it now, it probably would break. But when I was a kid, yeah, I love this movie, man. It's a fun movie. It has a nice happy ending for everyone involved, except for Yanni. But yeah, you stuck my wife, Oz. But yeah, Bruce Willis is on point in this movie. Matthew Perry is at his best, arguably. Michael Clark Duncan is always great. The actresses are good. Oh, by the way, Oz's wife is taken into custody to think she killed Hanson. So she's probably going to go to jail. And he's like, know a good divorce lawyer? You guys know a good divorce lawyer? So yeah, although it is a little skeptical that Yanni Gogalock died and Hanson died in that neighborhood, and Oz's wife is the prime suspect, yet Oz is marrying the wife of the guy who's supposedly dead, and they don't know who killed either of them. That is a little iffy if you think about it. And now Jill's left in the lurch too. So there's 3 people who are unaccounted for as far as they know. Or at least Jill's unaccounted for. The other 2, who knows where they're going. Who knows? But I have to say, all things considered, the whole 9 yards is pretty good. So what are your thoughts on the whole 9 yards? I'm going to comment below. Share, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I need to get back to finishing up the Purge franchise. I've been recording these in advance for next week. I got 2 left to do, so I gotta get back to recording those. I am going to try to get this out for tomorrow. Stephen King Saturday Night coming back. It probably won't be every week, but at least for the next 2 weeks, as I'm doing the theatrical cut this week, and then I'm going to do the director's cut next week. So, kind of compare the 2. So, with that in mind, what are your thoughts on the whole 9 yards? I'm going to comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.